Hello, friends. Hello. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I was having to sort my kiddo out on the porch with this switch and a heater and a blanket and, you know, all sorts of things, because that's what we have to do for kids to engage with their friends right now. Stay outside. All right. So, hopefully a couple of you will get on to see this trick and let me know. Okay, let's get started. First, I need a drink of tea. I was gonna try to show my face on here, but because I flipped my camera, I don't know that I can show my face and then flip it back and have it be in the right orientation. I think it would be very confusing. All right, so you may or may not have seen this card that I had on the Facebook and the Instagram yesterday maybe, or the day before. And I talked about the fact that I had reversed this donkey. So this is a single stamp, one donkey. And I am going to show you, and hopefully it's going to work when we're live here, how you turn it into a donkey going the opposite direction. So what you do need, something special to do it, and that is you need the silicone sheet, okay? Now, if you do not have this silicone mat, but you have a silicone mat that you use for baking that is not totally all greasy, you could use that. So that is the trick. You need a silicone mat and you need your image. So I'm gonna show you. We're gonna do it in Memento so that we can color it in with our blends. Hello, Lynn Scott. All right. So I pray that this will work. It worked for me perfectly when I made that other card. But I know I had a friend who tried it and it didn't work for her. So I'm hopeful that this will work for us. So we're first gonna stamp our cute little darling donkey. Just a single time. Will he fit up here if we're gonna cut him out? Oh yeah. In the right direction. All right, so there he is. Now, hey Alex, oh yay! I'm so glad you figured it out. That's so great. I'm excited because one of my registrants for Stamp Camp has been having trouble seeing the Facebook Live, so she can see, so that's great news. Okay, now, so I've stamped up our image. I am going to stamp it on my silicone sheet, okay? So I'm gonna stamp it up there. And then I am going to take my piece of paper and I am going to place it on that image. So then you just need to apply some pressure and hope that it's going to be there. Okay, so you can see it's there, but I didn't get even pressure on the face. So there are a couple, and I can see that here. So we're gonna try again, and there are a couple of tricks for this, and some of it might just be trial and error. Like I said, I am just sort of playing around with it myself, so I know there are some other things, but I feel like I know what we're gonna do here. So now I'm going to stamp it again in this corner. And now I'm going to put it, I'm going to put it down on the paper. There we go. And then I am going to apply pressure from the other side. So like I said, it worked perfectly when I did it the other day. Of course, no one was watching. And then I'm just gonna kind of really apply some pressure over the image with my finger. I don't think we want to rub because then you run the risk of smearing it. We still want to hopefully have a really crisp image. You could always touch up the edges with a marker if you had to. Okay, let's take a look, folks. I feel like this should be a pretty good image. Oh yeah, woo woo. There we go. So that, my friends, is how you reverse an image. Oh, sorry, I just hit my light. There we go. Right? Super simple. Very clever. So now I'm going to cut them out so that we can play with them. So I think that's the trick. That's going to be my advice to you if you want to give this a try at home. Hey, Carrie, glad you could join us. Is stamp it on your silicone and then place your silicone on top of your paper so that you can apply pressure directly to the inked image. Okay? So, voila. Now we have two donkeys in the opposite direction. And then we're just going to go from there. So we're just going to slap together a card. To be honest with you, the actual finished card was not really my focus. My focus was to show you guys how to reverse the image. But let's play around. So we're going to color some more gray donkeys because those are all the ones that I've done so far. I've seen some brown donkeys, so I think you could sort of do whatever you like. So let's color this guy first. And I'm just going to show you what I've been doing, and I'd love to see what other people are doing. So we're going to use light petal pink. I'm going to do it first on this one because he was colored first. So I know that that ink has had time to set. And I'm just going to color this whole snout. Is what do you call it? Does the donkey have a snout? In petal pink. And I'm going to color the underside of the ear. Okay, so I've just gone over that in light petal pink in the brush stroke. I'm now going to change to the pen side. I don't know what you call that other side. And I'm going to go a little bit darker around the edge, all underneath the mouth. And up on the ear here, I'm going to go a little darker where it's got the line. Okay. Then I'm going to take my color lifter and I'm actually going to lift the whole middle bit and make it even later. And that's just a preference thing, and you just kind of go as much as you want. It's not as obvious on a light color, but you'll notice when we do it on the gray. Okay, so there is that. And then I've got our smoky slate here, dark and light smoky slate. So I'm going to take my dark, and I'm also going to take the pen end, the tip end, I guess you want to call it. I'm going to color the tail in the dark. And then where we've got these extra little bits, and I'm just doing like little circular motions. And again, I'm not necessarily an expert on where you want to put the shading in. I kind of do it wherever I just see an extra little bit of black. There are some amazing demonstrators who have a really great eye for sort of where naturally the light would hit. I don't know if that's really my strong suit, but I do my best. And of course we can always go back and add more, and then we can always lift some of the color with our color lifter. All right, so I've done that, and then I am just going to take my light. Now I'm going to use the brush stroke, or the paintbrush, I guess it is. And I'm going to color in our entire donkey here. Be careful in here where the legs are that you don't end up coloring where it's actually meant to be the space between the two legs. Because that would be quite easy to do and not realize, and you could fussy cut it out, but I like to fussy cut, but I feel like that would be tricky. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip edges, and I'm just going to really put some color into where I had the dark, so that we can blend those lines. So it's not sort of so obvious that we had the light and the dark. That's what these pens are meant to do. Blend. And do the same up here. Really focusing where I had the dark. I had watched another demonstrator with the whiskey set. That's where I was sort of learning, and she was basically like, you really want to, where it's dark there, that means we've really saturated, and you're gonna see it. Hello, Drea, I see that you're on now, so you're gonna have to go back and watch, and you're gonna see that it didn't work for me the first time, and you'll see what I did the second time to get that reverse image, in case you missed the beginning. Okay, and now I'm going to take my color lifter again, and I'm just going to lift some of this color out of the middle of his belly, just for a little more shading, and a little bit here in the middle of his face. And then you can always go back in with your dark color again, if you feel like you want to just make sure you've really got a bit more of that highlight that we blended. Sometimes you might have blended out more than you wanted. So you can go back in. So there's our little donkey, cute as can be. And now here is our reverse donkey. So we're just gonna do the same. I guess I could color this guy in brown. That would be an option. Should we do that? Should we do the second donkey in brown? Let me know what you guys think. Either way, I'm gonna color his little snout here in the pink. So I can go ahead and do that. And then I guess we would do him in crumb cake, maybe, if we were gonna do him in brown. What do you guys think? Or should we do them both in gray, like my other card? I don't see anyone commenting, which is fine. I can decide on my own. All right, and then we're going to take the color lifter again, and I'm going to lift out the middle here. So I am on my second color lifter now. So for those of you who have blends markers, they're basically a consumable. They're not meant to last you forever. So especially if you find, like, let's say at Christmas you used a lot of red and green, or you had this particular stamp set, you will need to replace them. They won't last forever, and unfortunately you can't buy refills or anything, but you know what? The pair of pens is only $12. So it's pretty affordable. Sorry, I needed a drink. Okay, so Lynn said both gray, so we're gonna go with that. So we're just gonna do the same thing over here. I'm gonna put this in. And it's really fun, I find. Like, this is why I wanted to share this tip, because sometimes you've got these adorable little images and you wish you could have two, but you don't want them facing the same direction, right? So it's a nice trick to have. And obviously it could work with a lot of stamp sets, but right now the donkeys are sort of on my mind with Celebration and the such. The donkeys are quite popular. I think they have gone on back order. They might be back in already, but I know it was one of the items that seemed to be a popular pick, these little donkeys. And I said, when this first came out, I was like, I don't need these donkeys. But my demonstrator friend and I both knew that these donkeys would be popular, that people would love them. It's kind of like they always come up with some crazy little animal and everybody loves them. And I have to say, now that I have used the donkeys, this will be my third card with these donkeys. They're pretty darn adorable. I think this little donkey is my favorite, the sitting donkey. The other two donkeys, so there's this one here with the rose. And there's this one here that's like kicking up, having a good time. So I think this guy is my fave, but I haven't played with the other two. I've got a couple ideas, but sometimes my desire to play and my to-do list don't always jive. I have my stamp camp that I'm participating in is all this weekend. So that's gonna keep me busy on Saturday. And then I have this big order for a realtor who orders cards for me. So I have to get that done. I have to get all my January thank yous out. So yeah, sometimes my want and my need are different than what I actually have to get done. And that is a-okay as well. But sometimes if you're wondering why you're not necessarily seeing some stuff come out for me, it's because I'm kind of busy with all these other things. Okay, and then I'm just gonna come back in here with the light around his face and a bit of the light in his belly. And you'll find with the color lifter, you kind of want to do it and then you want to just walk away from it because you might need to actually add color back in because sometimes you'll find that you've lifted too much color. Okay? So next step, my friends, would be to fussy cut these guys because obviously we can't put them on, well, I guess we could put them on as a square, but the point of reversing them is so that you can kind of nest them together. So we'll do a quick little cut here. And then hopefully we can whip together a card because I sort of only have an idea of what I think I might like to do. This guy I find is actually pretty easy to cut out. So for any of you who have selected the donkey, if you've already purchased $60 during Celebration. Now sometimes, and now I don't have any knowledge of this, but every once in a while, Stampin' Up! Actually has dies that they release in the second, in the second half of Celebration. So that might be the case. I don't know that. I have no guarantees of that, but I suppose there's always the chance that on February 1st or February 2nd or something, we're gonna find out that there's actually dies available for these cute little guys because they're really the only image. I guess Touch of Ink is the other image. Otherwise they're words, right? The papers though, right? Are you guys enjoying the papers? I don't know what people have picked. I have ended up with everything, which is a bonus. I've also ended up with multiples. So for those of you who are local, or you don't even have to be local, so I've posted today my bingo event, which will be taking place in February, the last Saturday of the month, February 27th, and that will occur on Zoom. So it's a 2-hour event because we will play some bingo and then there will be some make and takes. We'll do the make and takes at the end so that if people don't want to hang around and craft online, they can just craft themselves after because you'll get the PDF as well. So all the details are on my Facebook page for the bingo. The registration is closing February I think the 10th, it's the Wednesday, because I need time to order all the items for the swag bag and prizes. You love the berry. Oh, Alex, I need to see things that you're making with the berry DSP then, because as much as I like it, I don't really know what to do with it. Because I didn't order that strawberry stamp set. I see lots of people mixing it with the strawberry stamp set, and of course we have that stamp set it came with. I don't know, I guess I'm just struggling to figure out how I need to make cards with berries. So I would love to see everyone's berry creations. Okay, there's donkey number 1. Donkey number 2. This is a problem with fussy cutting on cards, is that you guys have to watch. So the key to fussy cutting is to turn your paper. So you want to just keep your scissors in one place and you want to use your other hand depending on what hand you are, to turn the paper. And then you can either leave a little bit of a white border, or you can get right up close to your image. It depends what look you're going for. And then when you're fussy cutting, oh no, see? No, I fussy cut his ear. That's all right, we can fix that. If you're fussy cutting words, then you're just gonna decide how close you're gonna get to like letters that are all strung together. So I actually cut into this guy's ear, but that's okay. I didn't cut it off, so we can just work with that. Ha ha. Oh my goodness. The paper snips, you need small scissors for fussy cutting, for any of you who like to do this or would like to do more of it. So these paper snips from Stampin' Up, I have said this before, I will say it again. I didn't own these for the longest time, and then once I bought them, I was like, oh my gosh, why haven't I had these scissors? Like, they are an essential item. And now that I'm thinking of this, it's reminding me that I want to go buy a new pair of like sewing scissors to designate to be my ribbon scissors. Because what I have learned is that the more you use your scissors to cut paper, then the less sharp they will cut pieces of ribbon, and then you get that fraying when you're cutting your ribbon. So if anyone else is noticing that, if you're using the same scissors to cut both paper and ribbon, you might want to invest in a second set that you designate just for ribbon. You can also try, I think you can get your scissors sharpened, like at a knife store, similar to how you get knives sharpened. So you might be able to just sharpen them at home with whatever you use to sharpen your knives. You could also try, because certainly this is what you can do with your punch if you find your punches get dull, is cutting tin foil. And that can help to sharpen the edges. You could also try that with your paper cutter. I mean, I know the Stampin' Trimmer, we just put new blades in, but like if you have a guillotine cutter, I have a guillotine cutter that I use for cutting like all my big pieces, and you can slice some tin foil. Okay, so there is our two donkeys because we reversed the image. For anyone who's tuning in, you are going to want to go back to the beginning of this video at some point because I showed you the trick for reversing our image. So we're going to kind of play around with both of these card ideas, and I'm going to use some items here that are from my team meeting, and we're going to just kind of play around and make a card front. I thought we'd use this little heart because we got the two little donkeys, so maybe we'll kind of have them sitting. We can have the heart. We've got some ribbon here, so we can tie a bow. Hello, Sandy Peters. Yes, happy almost the weekend to you as well. All right. So I'm thinking something like this, and then we just need a card front. So I think I want to use just white, and I've got some white cut. What are you guys thinking? Do you think that's cute? Are you liking that so far? Would that be a cute little, you know, hey friend? Okay, so we got a white card front. And if we have this cute little circle on there, and then we could kind of do something similar to what we're seeing here. So we need some layers of paper. So we could, let's pull out just, I'm thinking, so we could use the dragonflies have bumblebee, or we could just use our 6x6 color family. we should use a complementary color is actually what we should use, but we could do, is that gonna make it too bumblebee-ish? Too much yellow? Too much yellow. All right. Maybe let's go with something fun from this paper. Navy would be cute. Big navy dots. What about something like that? And then stripes. What about this? What about this, folks? If we want to do like that other card with the two patterns, we could do stripes and dots and then the circle. There, that might be fun. Let's do it. This is the beauty of a good sketch, that once you find one, you can just keep using it over and over and over again, which is exactly what Erica Serwin, Pink Buckaroo, had said that she does with this sketch. She just keeps using it over and over again. So let's pull out our little paper cutter. So this piece here is, do you see how I put washi tape on my ruler so I don't lose it anymore? So 3.5 by 2. All right, so 3.5. And then 2. You really gotta hold it on this cutter. 3.5 by 2. And then this guy, I think is 3.5 by 4. So yes, it's 3.5, of course, by 3.5. Oh, it must be 2 3/4. I'm gonna do it by 3 because we can always make it smaller, but we can't make it bigger. What was it? 2.5? No, 3.5? 3.5. Okay. All right, so we have 3.5, and then we have this guy. So I'm gonna bring in Night of Navy. I think that's Night of Navy and not Misty Moonlight, but let me just double check. That's why I always keep the descriptions. It is Night of Navy. So then we might actually bring in some navy ribbon, but we'll see. Okay, so Night of Navy. That's not gonna be big enough, but we're gonna need some stripes, so we'll bring in some strips as well. All right. So for this layer, it is going to be 3 3/4 by 5. 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm just gonna cut that on my big cutter. 3 3/4 by 5. All right. So now where is my silicone sheet? We know that I don't ever do adhesive without it. So we are just going to adhere these two pieces, leaving an equal border, equidistance.